I started off supporting Penny. It was a very close run thing between Penny and Liz, but now sadly Penny is out. I'm supporting Liz. The reason I'm doing so is because I think she is going to provide clarity of leadership. That is not to disrespect anything about Rishi, who is a very, very good bloke and has been a hugely talented Chancellor. But I think with Liz, you're going to get clarity of leadership on the economy. We've just seen from her interview now, on foreign affairs, and on things like critical theory and woke. And the day after the Tavistock Centre, we've just learned, has been closed down, I think this is an issue which is going to be of considerable concern to some people. And above all, Arlene, in a place like the Isle of Wight, I want somebody who's going to be doubling down on levelling up, on education and training and raising those expectations. And I think Liz will do that better.
And can I say it's a beautiful scene behind you, Bob, there as we speak to you from the Isle of Wight. You've certainly chosen well today. But are you concerned at all, Bob, about the blue-on-blue rows that are going on at present? You will have heard the Defence Secretary today having a swipe at Rishi Sunak. You went out of your way there to say they're both very good candidates and you're backing Liz Truss because you think she'll give clarity of leadership. But are you concerned about the legacy of what happens after the leadership election is over?
Not really, no. I mean, look, some of these, I don't think we should say negative comments about other candidates. And I think being a half glass full kind of person, I always look for positives in people rather than doing other people down. So, it's not my style and I'm not going to speak ill of anyone. I respect Rishi, but I think Liz, out of the two, is going to be the better bet for us. And I think one thing, Arlene, is for certain that come the next election, there will be a very clear choice between a Labour Party in hock to the unions, doesn't know what a woman is, weak on Europe, probably weak on Russia, and Liz Truss, who is going to be a very different kettle of fish to the Labour. So we're going to have a very clear choice. And I think for Conservatives, we can live with that because we're going to have a growth agenda, a low tax agenda, strong foreign policy agenda and a traditional approach to issues like this sort of Marxist critical theory. And I think for my supporters and for my voters and my folks here on the Isle of Wight, that's important, along with the levelling up agenda, which is really important for our shipyards, for example, and our sailing industry in East and West Cowes. And we've got a really growth industry there, and we need the training and support to make sure that that continues as well. And I think for me, as I say, Liz is the best person to provide that leadership.
And do you intend to have Liz down to the Isle of Wight? I don't know whether she'll be able to get down there, or do you think that that's going to be possible before the election takes place?
We have a lot of Conservative members down here. I'm delighted to say roughly about 800. And for any candidate who comes down, they get a very warm welcome in the sunniest place in Britain. And we will listen to them very carefully. We also have the largest Union Jack in the world in front of White Shipyards in East Cowes. And that's normally an attraction for politicians from any background. So what can I say? But look, we will look forward to having them both down. I'm actually off to a hustings in Alton tonight, so I'm looking forward to speaking on behalf of Liz to East Hampshire Conservatives, and I hope to persuade them of the merits of her case. But look, I think it's a fascinating time. We have a clear choice between Rishi and Liz. It's actually a very good quality debate for the most part, and I think they are presenting clear alternatives about where we want to go. And for me, my money is on Liz, and I suspect now that Penny's out, the majority of folks on the Isle of Wight will be supportive of Liz. Not that I want to make any assumptions about how members of the Conservative Association here would want to vote.
And just finally, before you go, Bob, I mean, are you pleased that the discussion seems now to be focusing on the economy and what's the way to open up our economy and to get it growing again? Is that the sort of area where Conservatives should be having this discussion?
Yeah, I mean, Arlene, not only on the economy, look, foreign affairs. We need a more consistent approach to China. We've got to learn the mistakes about leaving Russia too late and then being surprised by the inevitable. There's a battle and a massive debate over critical theory. I think the debate, when you had lots of candidates, it was quite scratchy a couple of weeks ago. But I think now that you have a clear choice, I think there's actually quite a respectful debate taking place, which is great. And it's on really important issues. And actually, for me, I'm really happy that we're having this debate. And there is a clear choice between what Rishi is offering, which is more or less continuity, and what Liz is offering, which is to celebrate some of the achievements, many of the achievements of the last few years, but also to say now we need a new approach. And as she says, you can't tax your way out of a recession. And I think that is a very powerful argument, both for folks on the island, but also East Hampshire, where I'll be this evening, but also for Conservative members and indeed for Conservative voters throughout Britain, the millions of them.